Ford really haven't given any guidance, and we know they've suspended guidance, but they have dropped preliminary results for the first quarter. Now, again, these are preliminary results. Final results will come on April 28th, but I think this is clear that Ford and CFO Tim Stone are trying to send a message in terms of having ample liquidity given everything that's going on in the auto industry. We're not going to get into what the first quarter results are going to be because we haven't exactly seen what the estimate is right now from analysts, but a couple of interesting notes here. One, on April 9th, the company had $30 billion in cash on its balance sheet, including $15.4 billion in proceeds from borrowings in the last month from two existing credit lines. Tim Stone goes on to say, we believe we have sufficient cash today to get us through at least the end of the third quarter with no incremental vehicle production and wholesales or financing action. So this is Ford saying, look, we've got the cash at least to get through the end of the third quarter, and that's if things don't improve at all. And they are planning a phased restart of production sometime in the second quarter. Most believe it's in the auto industry. You're looking sometime in May. Whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end remains to be seen depending on where the facility is at, what's happening with the health departments in those particular areas about whether or not they think it's a good time for companies to begin manufacturing again. So, guys, at least a little bit of guidance from Ford in terms of clarity, I should say, not guidance, clarity in terms of its cash position right now. $30 billion on the balance sheet and enough to get at least to the end of the third quarter. And that's separate, Carl, of whether or not they have to take out additional debt, do other types of financing, et cetera.
Phil, just to be clear, considering a phased restart of some plants?
In the second quarter. And look, they've already said they're not going to be manufacturing. They're not going to be manufacturing through the end of April. Almost all the manufacturers have said that. I mean, there may be a few who are saying the end of April we're going to get there. I think it's likely that we will see the automakers, and I'm talking generally here, sometime between the beginning of May and the end of May, you'll start to see them bring on their facilities, as well as the suppliers. They're going to be doing the same thing. And again, it depends on where the plant is and what the situation is with coronavirus in that particular area.
All right, Phil, thank you very much.
Well, Phil, is anybody buying cars, just in general, buying cars and trucks? Because a lot of the downgrades this morning for semis have to do with the fact that they're connected with auto, and that auto is just a disaster. Right. I don't know if it's a disaster.
Jim, the expectation, if you were to run a sales pace or a sales rate for the month of April, most are saying don't be surprised if it would come in at 4 to 5 million vehicles. As a sales pace, not total vehicles sold, but as a pace. Just for a point of reference, most were expecting the sales pace in April to be somewhere between 16.5 and 17 million vehicles. So vehicles are being sold, particularly in the South and the Southwest. I mean, down in Texas, pickup truck sales are down maybe 50% in some parts of Texas. Now, that's not great, but there are sales going on. Compare that with the New York area. Look, you're barely getting any sales up there. Right. You guys know that. I mean, no dealerships are really open. You can buy online, but that's a drop in the bucket relative to what they usually do.